Hello there and welcome. I'm Chase Moser and this is Moser Movie Reviews. Today I'm going to be going over the last installment in the Tremors franchise, and it's so sad because it definitely could be the end forever, but until they make a new one, or if they ever make a new one, this is it. I kind of hope they do, but if they don't, this is a great end of the franchise. It's definitely my favorite out of the new trilogy. I think they take Burt's character everywhere they're supposed to go. I love that they're in Thailand. And if you think about the trilogy, they go to South Africa, and that's like a different type of a desert zone. And then they go to Canada, which is like an Arctic snow zone. And now they're here on an island, which is like a tropical, sandy, heat, greenish, yellowish type of vibe. And so I love that there is a different aspect that they're once again changing. I love that they are bringing the Shriekers back, because that was my favorite part of number 2 and one of my favorite parts of the franchise. I was really sad that they were not in parts 5 and 6, and I'm so happy to be able to see them back. Unlike the redesign of the Ass Blasters, I really love the design of the Shriekers. They are perfect, and having all of these monsters and this one being able to be juiced up because they are genetically tampered with to be able to be hunted down is so fun, because the aspect of that makes it scary and it makes it for a really fun watch. I think that all of this coming to a conclusion makes it for a really fun fitting chapter. And with all of that being said, we should probably get into Tremors, Shrieker Island. This movie and this whole trilogy are really resembling of Jurassic Park, but it's all done by Universal, so that kind of makes sense. I think that it's really fun to be able to have it on a tropical setting, because we've never really seen that before. Yes, Mexico had some grass, and yes, there's been some other different environments, but it's never been like this before. I love the tropics, I love the ocean, I love the sand, I love the island, I love the greenery. Everything is different. It's such a perfect way to introduce this species into this franchise. I am really intrigued by the opening scene, because you are introduced to these hunters that are here trying to get these creatures for sport. They are tired of hunting other things, and they really think that they have a chance at being able to go after these creatures. They think that they're the bigger predator. It has to do with being an adrenaline junkie and all of this kind of like power flexing. These guys make their money off of that, and by breeding them and releasing them on this island, they unknowingly give birth to this ultimate terror and shriekers, and everything comes to almost an apocalyptic state, but Burt is able to bring it to a close. So they also have one of the most fun opening titles. Like, that's probably my favorite of the entire franchise. It just is so cool. I love how quickly they are establishing the wildlife sanctuary. To me, this is the best part of the trilogy, because I like the scenery, I like the greenness, I like the people, I like the canaries and the budgies and the parakeets. I have little birds. They're little parakeets just like in the movies, and they're so sweet, they're so angelic, and I think that they're so cute. It's so fun to have them being a part of the franchise, and the fact that they can sense graboids is really cool. I appreciate the absence of Travis. A lot of people don't, but to me, sometimes he was not the best character, and I actually appreciate John. He is a fun character in this, and even though Napoleon Dynamite was not my favorite movie, he does another couple other movies that I really like, and I think he was great in this. This is a strong, performance for him. He does not act like completely goofy like some of the other things. I could take him semi-seriously in this, and he was a really fun aspect. I ended up relating to him, and he was a good sidekick for Burt. This whole franchise has been who can be a fun sidekick for these people, and the banter and the relationships in between the people you're having these situations with. I definitely think he makes his mark on this franchise, even though he's only in this last installment. But think about how many people are only in one installment, and they all make their mark. So that is just enough to be said for that. And it's really fun to be able to have them discover the body of the graboids and to see them as big as they are, and the hunting not going well, and these people are getting picked off one by one. Next thing you know, we're having all of these shriekers, and I'm literally in love with the design, and I think it's crazy how they shriek loud enough to be able to cause hearing damage, and it's so overwhelming with the sound waves. It's so smart to be able to have them attack them, and they kind of look like little dinosaurs. It's really fun whenever they're in the middle of their, vicious scenes. I feel like they take everything that you're supposed to love about the Shriekers and introduce them really fast into this one and let you have it and amp it up a little bit. They are tearing people to shreds, which is something we only really get to see like 1 or 2 times in the original movie that they are introduced in. So it's fun to be able to see them take on a whole other type of people and just take them down. There's a lot of fun in between scenes. I find this being able to be the one that's most rewatchable because I like the chemistry, I like the way it flows, I like the writing. This seems like an integral story to me. But I do also appreciate the fact that we get Jazz, which is Travis's mother. Now she's a fun character. I also just prefer female characters, and there's a lot of strong female characters in this one. I like the hunter girl. I like the tough girl that's on, the wildlife side, and the head girl Jazz. So everybody in this movie coming together with their energies makes it really fun for me to be able to watch. I like whenever they are in the bunker, which is kind of like similar to Burt's house. If you know anything about him in part 3 or in the TV series or even 5, he has his house a certain way because of all of these different creatures and their ways of attacking. So to be able to be in this World War II bunker here in Thailand, it's crazy that there are so many different callbacks, and his love for ammunition helps him be able to get out of any situation, no matter how he is being taken hostage. For example, you find out that Bill, the main guy, who is also really fun to watch, I find him being one of the best aspects of this movie. The actor is amazing. He always does great whenever he's in a movie, and he plays this villain so well, and it's such a strong aspect. I find him very similar to Black Hand Kelly from part 4, just this guy that's so intriguing and kind of badass and fun to watch. But as to where this one is more of like the villain character, and the other one from part 4 was someone that you really, really rooted for. And the downfall of this guy is something that is absolutely just coming for him since the beginning of this movie. He brought this upon everyone, plagued everyone with it, and of course he's gonna have to pay for it in the end. I definitely think it's smart being able to have these creatures attack several different times. I love whenever they are finally heading back to the island and flaming them with the torches and stuff. Eventually, whenever the hunters are getting dwindled down to tiny numbers, we get the big revealing of the biggest graboid we have ever seen, and some of the best CGI work in this movie, and it's really terrifying. And it's actually the one that's on the cover of my thing. I think it's really fun seeing them in this design. I really like the redesigns of these new cycles of graboids, ass blasters, and shriekers. Now, the ass blasters still aren't my exact favorite, but I'm growing to like them, like I said, and I'm kind of glad that they are in this one because it gets the shriekers a chance to shine, and that's everything that they need. Going into the cave is one of my favorite moments, I absolutely love how dark it is. I love how it calls back to number 5. I love how it even feels similar to the original franchise. And there's so many calls to like other movies, which was fun, and just the banter between Burt and the other guy was so interesting because he's so dependable and he's different than Travis, and I liked his energy a lot better. And whenever they're fighting the shriekers in the cave is so fun. That's one of my favorite parts. Anytime that there are these shriekers on camera, those are my favorite moments because I have been dying to see them ever since this part 2. So I'm really, really happy that this is where the franchise stands and ends. To me, it's a strong ending, and it's really, really fun and perfect, and it's the evolution of the franchise that I needed, and everything that they needed to do. They connected all of the dots, and it's the arc that they needed to connect, especially with not being able to show this part of the life cycle. In the other 2 movies, they needed to be able to come back hard in this one, and they did. I think they did it so well that it makes the other 2 really good, but it makes this one seem like it can be taken more seriously. Like, it just is such a threat. They establish it so well, and it's such a good watch. We have one of these shots in this movie where Burt steps on the ground and it travels all the way out. Now that's getting closer to the end, but there is this moment in number 5, and I definitely thought that was one of my favorite camera moments in that movie, and I'm glad that it carries over into this one. They might even do it at 6 at one point, maybe not, I'm not exactly sure, but it is so cool because it is so integral to the plot. Burt is always talking about his destiny, and I never really thought about how this would come to an end this way, but it does, and I never thought that he would die. But whenever it's coming to this conclusion where they're trying to drive the graboid over the cliff as a callback to the first one, and they're gonna blow it up and everything, it is smart enough to know that it has to go after Burt, so it's not gonna follow anybody else. And he lets everyone believe what they need to believe to help him get to this climax of the film. And whenever they're running and he does that stomp and it comes crawling after him and it's in slow motion, I remember just being so in awe, and he shoves the other guy out of the way, and it just shows you the empathy that Burt Gummer has. Michael Gross plays it so well, and you know that that is because he wants to save that person. He's got so many more years ahead of him, and the sacrifice, and he could not stand to let that creature take another person. And it was so sad, and it's kind of like the perfect way to end the franchise, because Burt has been putting in this time for so many years, and I can just think about my childhood, and whenever he got taken and he's got his middle finger up, it was so perfect. And of course that's like him, and to sacrifice himself for the last stand, it's perfect. And as far as I'm concerned, he did this as a way to keep these creatures off the face of the earth, so I would be fine if they never made another one, because it was his ultimate sacrifice. I never thought that I would be bawling or crying at this film or at a Tremors franchise. I do. I cried so hard watching this the first time. That's because it was the end of an era, an end of a franchise. He'd been doing this for so many years. There was 11 years between 4 and 5, and so many years between 5, 6, and 7 for him to be able to make that trilogy. He'd been providing so many stories and installments for so long, and he's just a tale of time. He's a testament, a staple of the franchise. He provided so many memories for me and my grandpa, and it was kind of like I was crying because not only is the end of a legend and he deserves to be celebrated and it's the end of his life, but the music was sad, and it's such a beautiful paradise place, and he's surrounded by all of these people that were good, and now they're all safe because of him. And it's weird to think that the graboids finally got him, but he finally made his mark before he went. And honestly, he was getting older. What much more was he going to be able to do other than make this ultimate sacrifice so that other people could live? I love how his funeral scene was handled. I think it was done with grace and empathy and touch and a heavy heart. The music was really sad. I literally was in tears. I watch it and always kind of get teary-eyed because, you know, when I showed it to my grandpa for the first time, he was like, wow, they really did that. They really took Burt away. And I was like, well, it'd been 30-something years that he'd been doing this franchise, and he put in all of the time, and he deserves that effort and that credit. And it really just comes to a full circle, and I appreciate it. I'm not mad at it. At first I was devastated, but now I can understand that it's good storytelling. If it's still hard for you to understand and digest, I get that, but really try to look at it from a different light, because Burt was everything, and he still is everything. And I love the fact that there's a Burt Gummer Day now. He really is the staple of this franchise, like I said. I had to let go of all of the times that I was watching this in my childhood bedroom at my dad's, waiting to go to my grandpa's, showing it to my grandpa, waiting for another one to come out, watching all of these releases, and now it's finally over. And I'm growing up, and that part of my life will never happen again. And Burt will never have this franchise again. He did it. He made his mark, and this is it, and now we have it to watch. And 7 movies is not nothing. That is so integral. And we have this franchise to thank him for, and I am so grateful for it because, like I said, it's provided so many memories in my life for me. All in all, this is definitely one of my favorite installments of the entire franchise. I think everybody did a good job, and by the time that it came around to this 3rd installment, everybody really got an understanding of what they were doing, and it definitely seems like it has the most production and value to me. So all of the people did a great job, and the cast was great, and it was really fun for me, and it's a great cap to this franchise and a great cap to this trilogy. Michael Gross will always be the king, and I'm so happy that he did everything that he did and give all of us Burt-isms over all of these years. Well, with all of that being said, that is my final thoughts of this franchise, and I could talk about it for years and so much more, and I probably could and will do it more in the future, but for right now, that's it. Definitely know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Let me know all of that good stuff, all of the things I usually ask. What worked for you? What didn't? What were your favorite Burt moments? Did you like the Shriekers? I was happy to see them again, and the Ass Blasters were missed, but they had 2 other installments of that, and so I definitely were glad that they got a chance to shine, like I said. All of that good stuff down in the comments, let me know. Check out some of my other videos, check out the rest of this franchise, and I've done a bunch of different genres and some other videos, live streams. I have a community tab. I even just started a Patreon recently, wherever you can check out some exclusive videos, some early access, and, you know, behind the scenes features. I'm trying to get all of that up and running right now and all of the, kinks worked out and stuff. But thank you so much for watching and participating and subscribing. I guess I will see you all in the next time. All right, thank you so much. Bye.